Well, it's the end of the year and we still have some potatoes left, and they're starting to wrinkle up and get in pretty rough shape. This is the ones I haven't peeled yet. I actually got started before I even thought about the video. I've been peeling potatoes and getting them ready. We're going to put them up, make sure we don't lose them. Well, I got started, like I said before I got the camera turned on, making fries, what we're going to do with them. I've been peeling potatoes and cutting eyes and running them slowly through the french fry cutter, our little Amazon special, I guess. It does a pretty good job. I mean, it makes good looking fries. Once I get all these cut, we should have enough to start the blanching again. I'm going to blanch them for about 30 seconds to a minute, whatever it takes to get them back out. Well, you can see I got this batch done. I got them cut in fries, I let them soak. You can see how much starchy business is in the water from letting them soak. I think it helps a lot making fries to let them get some of that starch out of them. I've got to drain the water. My water on the stove is boiling now. It's about time to drop some of them in. We're going to fill this up with cold water. Blanch them for about 30 seconds to a minute. It takes about that long to get them all back out. We're going to start putting them into the cold water. We're going to let them cool off completely, and I'll get a good clean towel and put over here on the counter where my cutter is, and we'll dry them out and back them. Kind of a simple process to get rid of potatoes that's going bad. Reading them how to do this, I made a mistake. Let's go ahead and admit it now. When we sorted potatoes back in July, I pulled a lot of the red potatoes first. And we sorted our potatoes according to what kind they was. These are red skin potatoes, by the way. Reading why they got some eyes on them. But I processed them first. We took the big potatoes and put the big potatoes in we got some plastic trays we put them in, some big plastic trays. Of course, we put the red potatoes, the big ones, in trays, and then we put the Yukon Gold and the white potatoes in different trays, and I brought the red potatoes in the house first. We've got a storeroom we set them in. We stacked the trays. Well, I stacked a lot of the big red skin potatoes on the bottom, and it took a while to eat down through them. I think we had 30 something trays of them. We had a good crop this year. But that left the red ones to grow eyes and shrivel up while we was eating the Yukon Golds and the white Kennebecks. But we're going to amend some of this. I got the majority of them cut up now. This is a batch we're fixing to put in. That should take care of most of our potatoes we have from the year. I still got a few over here for cooking. We keep them on the bar. But let's get busy. Yep, got another batch in. We're going to let them set for about 30 seconds. Then start digging them out. That'll give them about a minute of blanching. Should be enough to keep them from turning. Don't really cook them that much. They will make a good french fry later on. Well, that batch is done. They've been blanched for, I don't know, I'll probably let them stay 45 seconds to a minute. You know, it takes a little while to dip them out too. I didn't go to the trouble of getting the pot out with a strainer in it, but I wasn't going to do that many. I was just trying to get some of these extra potatoes caught up. I mean, there's probably, maybe 2 gallon bags in there. Ain't much. I put up several over the summer. Where I got to get these dipped out now that they cooled. You can see the ice is just about gone. We put them in ice cold water to stop the cooking. I've got my strainer, my colander. Start putting them over in the colander and draining them. I'll put them out here on this towel. That'll get good and dry. They probably still got a little heat in them because the potatoes really dense. That reminds me, if you're going to try that and you haven't done it before, don't put too many potatoes in your water at a time because it does pull the heat down quickly. You won't have hot water very quickly if you put a lot of potatoes in at one time. And keep a lid around because the lid, you can warm it back up while you're getting ready for the next batch. I use a lid in between batches get the water back hot. It don't take but a minute for potatoes to pull the temperature way down. I'm gonna get these loaded into the colander and get them dried and out on a towel, and I'll show you what the next step is after that. Well, you can see I've got them on the towel, letting the water out of them. This is what we're going to do with them. I'm putting them on these trays. I've got a couple ready to go to the freezer. I've got another tray probably of potatoes to go, but I'm going to set these in the deep freeze and let them stay for a few hours until they get almost froze, or where I can trust they're not going to stick together. This keeps them from being sticky, especially if you go in there and stir them once or twice before they get completely stuck together. Then we're going to put them in bags and you can get out what you need. It's not one solid frozen mass that way. You can open the bag, you can get out a double handful, or you can get a half a bag, or just enough for one person to have a meal. Just another way to store potatoes and make use of the ones that's been around a little long. Well, here's the finished product. It made about 2 bags. I'd probably get a few more in the bag, but still pretty good because the bags I'll be able to lay down in the freezer. I could have rounded them off, I guess, but if I had a few more potatoes. But I'm going to leave the rest for fresh eating. We still got some that's like the Yukon Golds. They still look pretty good. The red Pontiac or red Wadosa, I think what them was, they had to go. They was getting rough looking. That makes several meals though. You see they're loose. Sold completely loose in the bag. Take out what you want. Not a bad deal. That saved a whole lot of throwing away. If we'd have found some way to use them, but this is just one of the many ways. Hope y'all have a good week. Happy New Year. God bless.